Hello friends, today I am here with Phase 2 GK MMD question paper part 3. This was the remaining one. Earlier I have already given part 1 and part 2 which covers the previous topics, and this is going to be beneficial for you guys because it's a complete compilation of the questions of engineering knowledge topic wise, and this is going to save your time, and topic wise you can see the questions and prepare yourself. This covers refrigeration, AC system, Marpole equipments, diesel engine, steam turbine, deck machineries, which includes, of course, the hydraulics also, propeller and propeller shafting, engine room watch keeping. Okay, let's start with refrigeration system questions. Sketch and describe a vapor compression refrigeration system. What are the important properties of refrigerant? Very common question. What are the functions of an expansion valve fitted in the system? Draw and explain a reefer system using secondary refrigerant for a large reefer cargo hold. For a domestic fridge system, explain compressor, basically the functionality of compressor with a sketch, simple sketch, condenser, expansion valve and evaporator. So this is the thing. Describe the refrigeration cycle and the refrigerants used for refrigeration on board. Every time you will get the properties of refrigerant or refrigerants used for refrigeration on board or questions like this. Sketch and describe a reefer system using Freon as a refrigerant. Explain how temperatures of each room is independently maintained, like meat room, fish room, veg room, how the temperatures are being maintained. It is clearly given in the diagram with the help of your solenoid valves and the thermostatic expansion valves. What do you understand about global warming potential and ozone depleting substance with reference to a refrigerant gas? Some refrigerant gas like Freon 12 have been banned and new types of refrigerant gases has been introduced. What is the main reason? Okay, why secondary refrigeration is required for the cargo hold refrigeration? This is talking about the cargo hold. Sketch and describe cargo hold refrigeration system. What are the various reasons for such system to become less efficient? Draw and describe a line sketch of domestic refrigeration cycle. Simple domestic refrigeration cycle. Explain desirable properties of refrigerant, which we have seen earlier. Why perishable food stuff need refrigeration? What are the storage temperature of vegetable, meat and fish in general? Which is, if you see vegetables about 5 and 6 degree plus, meat approximately minus 17, minus 18, and fish minus 16, minus 17, like that. So that is the answer of it, but needs to be explained. What is defrosting cold room? Why defrosting is done? How it is done? So complete explanation is required. What is the effect on environment of release of refrigerants into the atmosphere? Sketch and label domestic refrigeration system and explain functions of the following switches: LP cutout, HP cutout. These are the safeties which is incorporated into the domestic refrigeration system, so that needs to be described and the benefits of it. For a fully automatic provisions refrigeration system incorporating in a number of rooms, sketch a line diagram detailing the devices incorporated into the refrigeration system to protect the machinery and equipment against malfunction. So the safety is basically needs to be explained. Explain how critical temperatures restrict plant operation and how these limitations are overcome. Now air conditioning system, which is a part of refrigeration. So some questions are asked on this also. Sketch and describe the air conditioning plant for accommodation of the ship. Sketch an automated air conditioning unit labeling the component parts, which regards to the harmful bacteria to the human that may exist in the air conditioning unit. State how bacteria can be transmitted through the air conditioning unit. So related to this is a very basic and starting part of the air conditioning system, that needs to be understood and explained. State what measures are taken to maintain the system in an acceptable sterile state. What are the advantages of using double duct system over single duct system for air conditioning? So double duct and single duct, sometimes it is asked separately also. Okay, so advantage of that. What are the Legionella bacteria in air conditioning plant? How it is caused? What protective measures can be taken to overcome this? Sketch and label an air conditioning plant of the vessel. Why in case of tankers the plant should be used in recirculation mode? The tanker, the person who has worked on tanker, he may be knowing all this. Explain working principle of vapor compressed AC system. With respect to the air conditioning plant, sketch and describe single duct system. Sketch and describe double duct system. I told you these are asked separately also. State the comfortable room condition parameters of temperature and relative humidity. The parameters has to be maintained like approximately 24 degrees centigrade, and humidity needs to be seen. With a suitable sketch, so how temperature and humidity are controlled in a ship air conditioner. Now we are going to MARPOL equipments. Why it is necessary to treat the sewage generated on board. This is related to the sewage treatment plant. This is the requirement of MARPOL. What treatment is carried out before pumping out sewage on board? List important regulations as per MARPOL for disposal of the sewage from ships within the outside special area. Means inside the special area and outside the special area. Actually, this is coming under MARPOL Annex 4, and that needs to be explained. Sketch and describe an OWS capable of complying with 15 ppm discharge criteria. Oily water separator. Draw and explain the construction and operation of ships ODMC with IRD formula. What is IRD formula? Explain regulations for condition and discharging sewage overboard. Actually, this IRD is your instantaneous rate of discharge. That needs to be explained. Sketch and describe oily water separator. Again, the same question. Enumerate functions of oil content monitor. The oil content monitor (OCM), which is fitted on oily water separator, needs to be explained. Explain importance of BOD, biological oxygen demand, for biological sewage plant. Sketch and describe disinfecting and commutating sewage plant. Sketch and describe oily water separator using for pumping out engine room business. Explain the operation of waste incinerator with the help of simple block diagram. So basically, if you see the MARPOL equipments, three equipments are coming and covered. One is your sewage treatment plant, NX4, oily water separator, ODMCS, OCM, NX1, and incinerator, NX6. These are the things. Sketch and describe functioning of biological sewage treatment plant. Same. Draw outline of working of an oily water separator. List items that cannot be burned into the incinerator. Give some important regulations as per MARPOL Annex 6 for burning waste in incinerator. Discuss with the sketch of principle of operation of oily water separator. State the factors which can lead to the improper functioning of OWS. Important. Explain why it is necessary to treat the sewage generated on board. What treatment is carried out before pumping out the sewage overboard. So treatment necessary and all. So these questions basically is related to the sewage. They are twisting, turning here and there, and they are giving the things. Sketch and describe the construction and operation of 15 ppm oily water separator. Means full construction and working principle operation. How it is efficiency ensured. Need to present block diagram. Okay. Sketch and describe biological sewage treatment plant. Same. There are two types of sewage treatment plant. One is biological and one is chemical. So biological one needs to be drawn and explain. Explain regulations for condition and discharge sewage overboard. They have used the word condition, but basically it's sewage treatment plant. Regulation has to be given. Sketch and describe an oily water separator suitable for pumping out machinery space bilges OWS. Give the important regulations as per MARPOL regarding pumping out machinery space bilge water in open sea and special. A biological sewage treatment plant develops a fault which necessitates opening the unit for repair. Detail the risk associated with opening the unit, the precautions taken to reduce the risk. This is a separate type of question. but risk associated with the sewage needs to be explained, and what precautionary measures are being taken. Draw and describe an oily water separator suitable for pumping out machinery space filters. Give the important regulations as per MARPOL regarding pumping out machinery space bilges in open sea and special area. Actually, it is coming as MARPOL Annex 1 Regulation 15A and 15B, means outside special area and inside special area needs to be covered. Why the oily mixture is heated during OWS operation? Basically for the density difference. So needs to be explained. Make a neat sketch of oily water separator for vessel trading through special areas and describe its operation. What are the requirements of ODMCS? A sketch and label oily water separator. Again the same. With reference to oil monitoring of bilge and tanker ballast discharge, describe with the aid of a sketch the general arrangement of an oil monitoring system. That is your OCM. State the inputs that are recorded and outputs of the operation. That also needs to be. Now the topic of diesel engines. This also is one of the important topic coming to you guys. So what is the scavenge fire? Its causes in two-stroke engine related to a scavenge fire. Very good question, very easy. How do engineers fight such fire? With sometimes you have the steam smothering system, sometimes you have the CO2 also. With respect to the scavenge fire in a two-stroke engine, enlist possible causes, means causes of scavenge fire, methods to prevent scavenge fire, actions taken in the event of scavenge fire, and what enables automatic engine slowdown. In this case, scavenge fire and your crankcase alarm, missed alarm, the diesel engine slows down. Enumerate the difference between two-stroke and four-stroke marine diesel engine. Explain the cause of crankcase explosion. Describe a fuel oil system used for propulsion of main engine. Explain in brief the use of various parts in above system like filters, purifiers, quick closing valves, heaters, fuel pumps, etc. Means basically the various parts which is utilized in the uh, system for the fuel oil system of main engine, and also this needs to be explained. Explain with sketch the scavenging system of large two-stroke engine. Name the three types of indicator cards taken for main engine on board ship. So need to be a sketch and explain the indicator cards taken. A sketch and describe briefly any two of these cards. Explain the difference between two-stroke and four-stroke engine. There are various difference needs to be uh, explained. Explain and describe the cooling water system of main engine. Very simple. State the various piping system found on board in engine room of a ship. Sketch and describe a simple lubricating oil system for a two-stroke. Sketch main engine fuel line system with mixing column. Only the line diagram has to be sketched and marked and labeled. What is the purpose of mixing column? Explain the purpose of mixing column. Explain the principle of operation of two-stroke engine. Explain, sketch and explain timing diagram of two-stroke engine. Why is such engine preferred for use as a main propulsion engine? What is meant by the term internal combustion engine, IC engine? Draw a simple sketch of a unit of two-stroke main engine and label the various parts. Means two-stroke engine, a simple sketch has to be drawn, and basically the major parts has to be marked. With respect to the marine diesel engine, explain with a suitable sketch of the following: scavenging and different types of scavenging, scavenge fire and reasons for the same, prevention of scavenge fire. The earlier the questions already we have seen scavenge fire related question. A step-by-step development of crankcase explosion. Now this is an important question. Talks about the crankcase explosion, primary explosion, secondary explosion, all these things. Sketch and describe a crankcase relief valve fitted on large IC engines. What is barred speed range with respect to the direct coupled diesel engine and why it is important? Describe with the flow diagram the sequence of operations while starting a direct coupled diesel engine remotely. Write short notes on the use of indicator card on board protection precaution against crankcase explosion, why preheating of main engine is carried out, bridge control of main engine needs to be explained. So this is all related to the main engine propulsion system, bridge control also, and related to the safeties which is taken in case of the scavenge fire as well as crankcase explosion and all. So now we are going to have some few questions related to a stern tube and purifier that came recently only. With suitable sketch, explain the latest arrangements on a stern tube lubrication system and arrangements for mitigating the oil leakage into the sea. Okay. Draw and explain the principle of operation of purifier. This is the purifier question. So explanation of the purifier with a neat sketch is being required. Explain the purpose of purifier and why settling is not enough to complete the oil. So that is also a purifier question. In this slide, now we have to have the question of propeller shafting. Describe with the sketch a controllable pitch propeller as used on remote control system. Okay, so CPP. What are the functions of thrust shaft in the propulsion? What are the adverse effects of after and end seal leakage to the propeller shafting? Discuss the advantage and disadvantage of controllable pitch propulsion. Means advantage and disadvantage of CPP. What is rope guard and why it is fitted? What is meant by keyless propeller mounting? With the propeller shafting, how is average pitch of propeller calculated? What is the barred speed range and where it is indicated and why it is important? Now propeller shafting question complete. I find only these questions related to the steam turbine. With a simple sketch, explain the operating principle of impulse and reaction turbine and describe briefly the warming procedure of large steam turbine, giving reasons for the same. So since last 5 years, this is the question. Stabilizers, anti-healing tanks, these 4 questions are there. So by the sketch, what are the 6 degrees of freedom of a ship? Simple question. Describe the actions A. Tilting fin system and B. Anti-rolling tanks. These two needs to be explained with the diagram action of it. What are the anti-healing tanks? How the liquid is transferred. With a simple sketch, explain the working of a stabilizer. These are the questions of stabilizer system. In this one, we have plenty of questions. Describe the advantage and disadvantage of hydraulic system used on board. Explain the effect of air, water, dirt and insufficient cooling on the hydraulic system operation. Sketch and describe a hydraulic windlass drive system. So windlass system needs to be explained with a neat sketch of hydraulics. Describe the purpose of hydraulic accumulator. Advantage and disadvantage of hydraulic unit of winches. Draw and explain with a sketch a hydraulic accumulator with the advantage and disadvantage. Next, sketch a simple hydraulic system used for anchor windlass. What maintenance is required on the hydraulic system for trouble-free operation? Means maintenance schedule of the hydraulic system. Write the common failure of the hydraulic circuit and remedial measures. What regular maintenance should be carried out on deck machineries? Explain effect of temperature on performance of hydraulic machineries. Include maintenance on prime movers of this machinery also. With a simple sketch, explain the basic hydraulic circuit for winch. Why it is important to maintain cleanliness in hydraulic oil? Very important question. What are the routine maintenance carried out on the deck machineries? Routine maintenance of the deck machineries. Explain function of accumulator, prime mover, filter fitted on deck hydraulic system. What is the function of these? Routine maintenance carried out on deck machineries like windlass, winches and cranes. So PMS has to be explained. Necessity of cooling, heating of the hydraulic oil. What is the necessity of it? So now we have different topic. Next is your watch keeping topic questions. Generally question number 10 is this, and these are very simple questions. What is understood by unmanned machinery space? You can write by your own experience. Explain the requirement regarding watch keeping duties in an unmanned machinery space. Watch keeping duties has to be explained in UMS system. So UMS checklist points to be explained. With block diagram, explain bridge control system for main engine. What are the requirements of bridge control system? Again the same question. Explain the procedure for taking over a watch in man engine room and various checks required to be carried out during watch. Safe watch keeping arrangements necessary in engine room when carrying dangerous cargo. List indicators and alarms provided with the bridge control of main engine. State any 10 important things that you do in engine room when you are on watch. What all things will you check do on 2-hour notice to arrival port in engine room? Write at least 10 important checks you will check during engine room watch. 10 important checks needs to be explained. What checks and actions you will take on 1-hour notice on engine room on arrival port. I will suggest you guys that UMS checklist, then arrival checklist, departure checklist, and the alarms and indicators on the bridge control panel, these things. So basically bridge control system of the main engine needs to be explained. So if you do all these things, you will be able to answer question number 10 very nicely. Continuation now. State any 10 important things that you will do check when on watch in the engine room. Simple. Sketch and describe importance of emergency bill suction. You have to, if possible, you have to draw a neat sketch completely of the emergency bill suction and explain the importance of it. Explain necessary preparations required in engine room by watchkeeper on receiving 2-hour notice prior departure of the vessel. I told you arrival departure checklist is required. Describe the arrangements necessary for effective engineering watch to be maintained for the purpose of safety during UMS operation and normal watches. Describe how a two-stroke main engine is prepared for maneuvering after 3 days in stay in port. Means generally the cargo operations done and then after that departure. So it is asking about the departure. Describe how two-stroke main engine is prepared for maneuvering after a 3 days in port. The same thing which I read earlier. Explain SOLAS requirement for UMS operations. Okay, so SOLAS requirement has to be explained. Okay, so there is one question in this, the remaining topic is your CO2 total flooding system. So sketch and describe block diagram a simple CO2 total flooding system for machinery space, and how is re-entry into the engine room done after CO2 flooding. So this question needs to be explained with the sketch. Whatever things I have done to you, I have explained to you guys in this question paper is going to help you in preparing the examination of phase 2 GK topic wise, and you will be successful in the exam. Thank you all of you.